Welcome back to the List Building Lifestyle. I'm your host, Igor Kheifets, and today I'm hosting Dylan Bridger. Dylan Bridger is a chemical engineer turned email marketer who helps coaches and course creators express their unique personalities and make more sales from their email lists. Here are just a few things that we would consider Dylan's achievements. So he helped a seven-figure client scale their email-based revenues by 300%, bumping up their gross sales by a sustained 20-30% for 2 years and counting. He was invited by the Toronto Region Board of Trade, one of the largest and most influential chambers of commerce in North America, to speak on email marketing and conversion rate optimization on multiple occasions. He helped a high-ticket coach book 130 sales calls worth $148,200 in revenue in 90 days by sending one broadcast email a week. He's attracted by he attracted a small but mighty audience of 2,992 Twitter followers and about 1,000 email subscribers who regularly buy his own info products and service-based offers. Before starting his own business, he was a full-time growth marketing manager for an e-commerce startup. In that leadership role, he developed the company's paid acquisition and email marketing strategies, helping the startup profitably scale to unprecedented heights within a year. And today, Dylan lives a simple life writing emails for his clients and teaching others how to get better results from their email marketing. In his spare time, you can find Dylan playing drums, writing songs, or chilling with his wife. So, Dylan, welcome to the List Building Lifestyle.
Thanks, Igor. It's nice to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, my pleasure. It's been a long time coming. I dropped the ball a couple of times, kept pushing it back, but I'm happy we're finally doing this. Plus, fellow Canadian as well. So that's always a nice cherry on the top. I originally came across your work by seeing an ad in a newsletter, like a content-rich newsletter, which made me kind of wonder, like, how often do you advertise in newsletters, and whether it's a consistent part of your lead generation strategy?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been really focusing on newsletter classified ads a lot in the past, like probably 3 to 4 months. So it's still somewhat early days for me. The reason I do that, or the reason I decided to do that, is because the people that I'm going after in terms of clients are really people that are entrenched in like reading emails, consuming newsletter content, sort of knowing what's going on among creators. And I saw that there was some creators that were listing, classified ads for what I thought was an undervalued price. So I did it one time as an experiment. I just pointed people to a free lead magnet, which is like a case study of mine, and then I have a welcome sequence on the back end of that primarily promotes a high ticket coaching program. And on the first run, it was profitable. So I was like, okay, that's interesting. So I reran the exact same ad in that same newsletter, I think like a few weeks later, and again, similar results. So I was like, okay, this is good. So right now, what I'm doing is I'm testing out a number of different newsletters, basically rinse and repeating that strategy. And into Q4, that's going to be more or less my core traffic focus for driving new leads. And I think I've done 2 this month, and I got 4 that I'm planning for next month. And so yeah, I'm kind of doubling down on it because I feel like it's a good opportunity right now versus some of the other ad platforms.
It's funny because I've been looking at this stuff for a while. I've even connected with Scott Olford, who's kind of like a dominant force in that space where he's trying to bring newsletter advertising into the lead gen space. And I'm actually really rooting for the guy. I didn't have a chance to connect with him deeper, but I really believe that in the near future we're going to see more and more opportunities for list builders to build their list through newsletters. And I think that's great because the whole idea that you start off your list building by attracting people who are already subscribing to other people's lists and reading them, and in the habit of opening and reading emails. I think that's amazing. That's the whole premise on which I've built my entire presence online, where I got going. I've tried different lead gen techniques, and I've really just kept hitting one wall after another. And then finally, when I've discovered email drops, where I could get in front of people who are already subscribing to lists, although those were not like content newsletters necessarily. Those could just be very much, just mailing lists where they get pitched with offers all the time. It kind of changed the game for me. and later on, I figured the reason it was a game changer for me is because relatively to what you would pay to get a subscriber from a different media, you're paying way less. But in addition, you're getting a much higher quality subscriber because you run the same ads on Facebook, for example. There's no guarantee that these people are going to be opening your emails. Like I've actually done this. I ran several different types of traffic to the same funnel. Facebook ads, Google ads, email drops, and a bunch of others like pay-per-view traffic and stuff like that. Facebook was one of the lowest. It was like at the very bottom of the totem pole as far as getting a follow-up email open. The email open rate and the follow-up for those prospects was absolutely atrocious.
Yep. Yeah, I've heard similar things with Facebook ads, and I've kind of seen similarly as well. I initially started growing my list with like Google ads with paid search ads, which it's a good quality lead, but it's a lot more expensive versus yeah.
It's really expensive. I
Yeah,
mean, I like if someone can afford it, I highly recommend they do it, but it is really, really, really expensive. Absolutely.
it is. And what I find with a lot of the like with promoting classified ads in other people's newsletter is like there's the hard metrics that you get, but sort of like you said with the quality of the subscriber, like I find that you end up borrowing a lot of the trust from whoever's referring you, whoever's click. Like which I mean, there's two sides of that. Like on the one hand, there's probably people who perhaps don't even know it's an ad, so there's that factor. But even for the folks that do know that it's very clearly an ad, um, there's an element of, oh, you were mentioned in this publication, you must be at least somewhat legit.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like people underestimate the transfer of credibility that occurs when somebody with a relationship to that audience of some sort doesn't have to be a super duper relationship, just familiarity as a principle. Just transferred at least a portion of that over to you. I mean, this is what the whole concept of affiliate marketing is based on. Like when the trusted authority is recommending a product or a service, their conversions oftentimes are much higher than a random cold visitor to the same landing page. And a lot of that has to do with a pre-existing relationship or trust or some kind of familiarity with that particular, affiliate or whoever's like recommending. That's a crazy powerful concept.
Yeah, so basically, if you haven't yet, it's a good idea to just like test out even just running a small ad. You kind of need to like track down. You might need to like poke around on people's websites and see where you can advertise, which is I guess the downside of this method versus just launching a Facebook ad or something like that. But if you're willing to put in that little bit of work on the front end, there could be some opportunity there, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.